Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am the Custard Prophet. We're back here with our ETS2 career mode save with the Custard Haulers back in Europe, and we are going to be taking 17 tons of onions from Edirne in Turkey to Mytilene in Greece, so the island of Lesbos. Yes, we are back with the Greece DLC, so let's hop in the truck and we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing, why we're doing it, as well as some massive updates that have been provided by SCS. So it's all happened all at once and I want to talk about it. I'm really excited to get your points of view as well on all of these things that we have learnt in the last few days. So yes, let's drive, folks. Let's drive. Let's not take out that sign. Very nicely done. If you saw that in my rear view mirror. So what are we doing today? Well, we're heading back to Greece, taking a little bit of a break from the Iberia DLC. We had a lot of fun there. The last episode was really interesting with the sort of two points of interest that we went to visit. The power tower, the Andalusian power tower, which was utterly mad. If you've not seen this, go back and watch that episode because it is like nothing I've ever seen before. So the power tower, and then the greenhouses on the south coast of Spain. I didn't know they existed. They're mad. As was pointed out in the comments, there are so many of them. If you look it up on Google Earth, and do this because it's worth it, there are so many of them that it feels like you can probably see it from outer space, which was a point made from Megatron Decepticon in the last episode. So let's have a little look at where we are heading here. We are going to be coming here from, we're on just the outskirts here of Edirne. I mean, we couldn't be much closer, and we're just going to be coming into Kavala, taking the ferry to Mytilene, and we will take this little route here, which is a quick way through. So that's going to save us this whole kind of palaver there. But we're actually on a bit of road we've never been on before. So, you know, this is not something, we're not in the Greece DLC at the minute. This is the road to the Black Sea DLC, which we haven't fully explored and completed. There's still some achievements waiting here, as there is in Greece, and that is why we're back. So we are going to be doing part, the 2 deliveries today is the plan of the all-inclusive achievement. Now this is an interesting one because this is an achievement they put in to link some of the hotels that we have in Greece, and there are some rather nice looking hotels which you can deliver to, which are all marked as Artemia. Artemia is the name of those hotels. So if you want to find them for this particular achievement, that's what you need to type in. And essentially in this we need to deliver to 4 of those Artemia hotels, and they have to be unique hotels, so 4 different hotels, and there are 5 in the game on the 5 different islands. So you've got one in Rhodes, one on Argostoli, one in Chiros, one in I can't remember the other one, starting with CH, and one with Mytilene, one in Mytilene. So we're doing that Mytilene one today plus one other, and then we'll be going over into one of the others, which is a relatively short drive. But this one's not going to take us very long, and hopefully the other one won't be a mad crazy drive that takes us hours and hours to do. But we have got time to have a little chat, and that's what we're planning to do. So we're gonna be trying to get halfway through that achievement, and in the next episode, depending on what happens, and this is very much related to things going forward. And let's the border. Just a second. I don't think we've been across this, have we? But look at that. Rather cool. Rather cool. The Turkish flag. We're leaving Turkey and going into Greece. But yeah, and the next episode maybe, but there might be something else happening, we'll do the second half of this. So back in Greece, back doing the achievements. Hello, mate. Well, there's nobody there. How did I pass you any sort of documents? How did that happen? No idea. I don't believe this is real. Anyway, folks, this is going to be fun. Proceed to the X-ray inspection inside the building through the rightmost gate. I think I'm not going that. I think I'm going basically down here, and I think that's my building down there. So we'll just go through the X-ray because that's always fun. And I'm going to give you a little teaser of what we have found out whilst we're doing this, because there's 3 different things that I want to talk about, all of which are equally exciting, and all of which I'm sure you're itching to know about. Yeah, cheers, thanks. We're in Greece. So number 1 is the 1.55 update has been, or the open beta is released. So if you are interested, in, there we go, little cutscene here. If you're interested at all in 1.55, we're going to be talking about that. So that's the new update, and we'll talk about what that means in terms of the new stuff that's going to be in there. And there is some cool stuff in there. It looks quite a bit of quite a few things that they're included in that update. So I've got a list of things that, some of which I'm understand and are excited about, some which I don't understand at all. So that's number 1. Number 2, as I'm trying to find it on my page, that's the petrol station. I don't need to go through the petrol station. That's fine. It's fine. We can go through the petrol station. So I was looking. I was busy looking at this. So I should have gone to the one on the left there. Going through the thinnest possible road there. The one on the right, sorry, was much easier. Yeah, number 2 is project coaches. I'm going to say no more than that, but oh my, how cool does that look? We'll talk about project coaches, and also new DLC. Anyone? they've announced what the next DLC after Nordic Horizons is. So we're in Greece. Let's go for a bit of a drive. This little drive is going to take us through Old Town of Kavala, which is an epic drive. If you've not seen this one before, keep your eyes peeled, folks. Keep your eyes peeled. Right. I'll turn my face off and I'll come back when we are in the new island, in the island of Mytilene. And as we're finding our way there, we'll talk a bit about one of those topics. Well, that was a fun drive through the sort of hidden road of Mytilene. One thing I hadn't even thought about, which you probably saw on there, was the little crash I had. I didn't really take note of the fact that balconies might get in the way, and I was just kind of driving along the road and I hit the balcony above me. I mean, I wasn't looking out for that. I did knock a few bins over. It was it wasn't a perfect drive in all other respects, but yeah, never thought I'd to take into account that. Makes it a really tough drive going that way round rather than the other way, which is still a tough drive. Anyway, yeah, there's lots of hazards potentially that we're coming across. Anyway, let's talk about the first one of those exciting topics that I mentioned. We've got about an hour's drive to get to our first location. And as we drive alongside, I might take a little... I mean, this is gorgeous, isn't it? This is absolutely gorgeous. Maybe thumbnail city there. But let's talk what I think, and it's hard to say what's the most exciting, what I think might be the most exciting to many of you is the new DLC announcement. Because this is one that I really am very excited about. We know we've got Nordic Horizons coming out. That's been announced. Well, it was announced a long time ago, and in all honesty, it's uber exciting, and I think that part of the world is going to be really, really pretty to drive. But the fact they're also coupling that with the Scandinavian rework, it's going to be pretty awesome as well, and they're well on the way to deliver those things together. But the new DLC that's coming after that is Iceland. Iceland, folks. Now we've been along the journey with Zilla as he's taken the Pro Mods drive around Iceland, but it is going to be in the game. And if you are interested to look at what Iceland is going to look like in the game, they have already got a YouTube trailer for the DLC up on the SCS YouTube channel. And my God, does it look spectacular. It's not full of snow and stuff, and I really hope that's something they would bring into the game. I thought maybe with the Christmas event, with all that snow there, that might be something we might see in the game, but not by the looks of it. But outside of that, you have a very, very scenic drive, and remember, Iceland is not a hive of motorways. It's going to be lots of relatively small roads connecting either reasonable cities, the likes of Reykjavik. That's all I can name in Iceland. It's the only city anyone can name in Iceland. But you've also got then a bunch of other sort of towns and smaller settlements around the outside of Iceland, which we'll be able to drive on. So that, I feel, is going to be awesome. I am very, very excited about Iceland. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. What do you make of what SCS have shown already? What would you like to see in Iceland that you're not sure whether it's going to be there or not? And what they say is there's going to be dramatic drives. I think there's a loop around the outside, like a main road loop around the outside, sort of like, well, I think they call it the ring road or something like that around Iceland. That's going to be pretty epic. But I mean, as I was saying that, and we're sort of driving around this absolutely gorgeous. This is one of many routes I really enjoy in this game. The islands are spectacular. I know I said I was going to do a video of my favourite routes. Did I do that? I might have done that video. I can't remember. I had them all written out. I don't think I ever made the video. Oh, that's annoying. I think it was the mainland routes, I think. Did I do that or didn't I do that? Help me out, folks. I got so close to actually making the video, but I don't know if I actually ever did. I don't know. But I was going to do one for the islands as well, one of my favourite routes on the islands, and this particular little part of the drive is one I really like. As we're heading off to the hotel, so that is the one big exciting release. And let's do another one whilst we're doing this. We can talk as well as we're we can talk as we're reversing as well, and that is project coaches. So we talked a bit in the previous in an ATS video about a new feature coming to ATS where you can drive a car across America, or a Winnebago across America, this kind of really mad thing. And I asked the question, well, are they doing the same thing for ETS2? Well, I'm not sure what the answer to that was, but Project Coaches has just been released. And this might be what they're doing for ETS2 instead of, or maybe as well as. And essentially, you're going to be able to drive a coach or a bus on defined routes through Europe. So they have been secretly putting in coach and bus stations into the game, some of which were already in there, they already existed, some of which have had to be newly put in, and so those have been dotted around the game already. And the idea is, rather than doing a trucking career, you can do a career with a coach or something like that. I don't think, well, the details haven't been fully released, but you're essentially a coach driver, and you're going to be picking up passengers, dropping them off, driving across Europe, which is a really cool, different way of doing it. And the way a coach handles is going to be very different to the way something like this handles, because they're not articulated. So it might be harder to get those around the sort of mountain passes and around those sort of around Mytilene and things like that without completely destroying oncoming cars. But really like the idea, and it's what a clever little addition to the game. Let me know your thoughts on that, and what do you hope to see? What do you hope to see with that? Do you hope to see a whole game mode devoted to it, something separate from this, or what? How do you think they should integrate that into the game? So I think we're going down here. Right, so I think we've got to reverse it down there. I think. Okay, where do we... Sorry, there's a truck down there already, though. It's down the bottom there. It's down the bottom there. Right, I was going to say, I ain't going to get that in there very easily. Right, so... Am I going in there? Where the heck am I going with this? Oh my lord. Right, I've found it. It's there. I've got to reverse there. How the... Oh my...
All
manage to turn around, that's all that's going to happen. I cannot make that work. That beat me. Let me know if you've managed to do that. I want to do that at some other point, but there we go. Number 1 out of 4 for the all-inclusive achievement. We'll move on to number 2. Well, folks, we are in Italy, and we are going to be taking a case of olive oil, or more than a case, a big truck of olive oil in this job number 2 from Taranto in Italy to Argostoli, and it's going to be mainly done on the seas. This is going to be quite a swift delivery. So let's, after the disaster of the parking, and I'd love to know what would have been your strategy with that parking, because I just could not make it work. I couldn't get the back of it because you had to turn both ways, and I just wasn't sure what the solution was there. Maybe it means that I need to be a bit better with some aspects of my parking. But let's have a look at the job that we've got in front of us now. So we're going to be going to Bari, and we're going to be going into the port of Argostoli here, and then just flipping ships, and then coming the Ionina, and then coming to Argostoli here, and then we've got to go. Basically, the distance here is the trip around the island, which will be a fun one. So what I'm going to do, we've seen all this before. I'm going to get us to the port, and then as we get over, we'll come back, and we'll have a chat about the new update, and what sort of cool stuff's in there as we drive around the island. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. So I'll see you in a second as we're travelling off to Bari. Folks, we're back here in Argostoli. We've taken the ferry over from Bari. You probably saw a rather horrific little crash that I had trying to take a turn too soon, so we actually had to fix up this hire truck. But it's fine, we got here, and you can see we're driving along the water. It's absolutely glorious here, and we've got around 2 hours to travel the length of this island to get to the other side where our drop-off location is, with this hotel that we're getting to. So this should be a good one. But on the way, I want to talk about one very specific thing which I'm very excited about, and that is update 1.55, which is in the open beta phase. So if you are interested, you can download that on Steam and have a look at that. And there are a whole bunch of things that are included in that update. What we knew from probably quite early on in terms of the update that was coming was an update to the Driver Academy. So I think in the last, or maybe the previous update to the game, we had the introduction of the Driver Academy, and there were 3 chapters, I think, in that first one, which got increasingly difficult as you went through, from very simple kind of how to set the mirrors up, those sort of things, which I did learn quite a lot about, but also about reversing and other such things, and some of the skills that have been needed. And as I've said kind of repeatedly about that's one of the best tutorials I've seen in any game. It was done superbly, and it has improved my abilities no end. Apparently not good enough though, because I wasn't able to reverse that rather tricky little delivery in the last hotel, but that's all fine. Maybe I can learn a bit from the new one. But they have the driving proficiency set of events for that DLC. For that update. What are you doing, Matt? Is he just coming straight out? Yeah. So the driving proficiency is what we're going to be looking at next. Don't know how many chapters there are, but there are going to be 3 new achievements for that. There's going to be a whole bunch of things associated with that. So various challenging scenarios. It looks like travelling on different types of ground, but it looks also like we're going to be going back to things like reversing and other stuff like that, which are challenging but under different and more difficult circumstances, as well as different weathers, I think, sort of doing things in the rain and other things like that. So I think a lot of that is going to be quite interesting, quite exciting, and we'll certainly be having a good look at all of those scenarios when they drop on when they drop. So we'll do them all on the channel, so you'll be able to see them right here if you're not going to do those yourself. So that's something we expected, that we knew about. But what else is coming out? So one of the things that I don't really understand, but I think it's probably going to be quite useful, is something called asynchronous loading, which apparently will stop some of the stuttering in the game, and it will allow more of a seamless loading experience for the game. We're talking about loading of the game, not loading of trucks here, but that sounds like it's going to be helpful. Perhaps not very exciting, but if anyone knows a bit more about that, please drop that in the comments as to exactly what that means and how that will be helpful. Something that looks interesting, I don't fully understand it, is some custom intros for the cities in the Vive de France DLC. So all of those which have got a garage will now have a custom cutscene in the city. I don't know quite what that is, how you'll get to those, whether that's with the whether you've got to go to a certain point, like a scenic viewpoint, and you'll be able to see it, or whether there's something else going to happen here. Cool. Or whether you arrive at the city and you see the cutscene. But I always love things like that, and I love that they're going back to one of the older DLCs just to kind of make it look a little bit prettier. So looking forward to seeing what those are. We'll certainly, once it drops, have a little look and see if we can figure out how those work, and maybe visit one of the cities in France we haven't been to yet, and see how we trigger that cutscene. So I think that will be fun. There is going to be a redesign to the look of the mailbox. Yeah, that's great. I'm not so excited about that. I don't think that's such a massive thing, but it's good that they're thinking about all those things. And in the settings option, this is quite a good one. Alongside the different settings that you can alter. Wow, this is a tough drive. Forgot how tough this drive was. in the settings menu, they'll give you an example screenshot as to how that setting will make it look. So what is the difference between two settings? But I think it's a really nice little feature, because often you don't really understand what the difference is going to be. Is it going to be big or small? What's the point in it? So I kind of like that idea. I think that will be helpful. Perhaps not one that people are going to be too excited about, but certainly if you are fiddling around in the settings menu, I think you will enjoy that and find that helpful. The Volvo FH tuning pack. So we now know that all of that is going to be, all those accessories, or the tuning accessories, will be put into the game, allowing that particular model, which I think was recently put into the game, to be properly tuned and upgraded. So that's a good thing. I mean, I haven't tried to upgrade one of those yet, but that is yeah, you want to be able to be, you know, for it to be as enjoyable as all of the other bits and pieces there. So I think that's good. And there was another one in there which I'm just looking for. Yes, sorry, I just had to look at what it was. One more in there as well as a bunch of other things, but this one looks intriguing. It's an update to the achievement system. You've just driven into me, mate. That was all on you. Come on. Now you've just reversed into the... What are you doing? Oh my lord. Right. We'll let... Oh, for Pete's sake. If you do the same thing, I'm going to be furious. Yes, that's it. That's it. You wait there. Yeah, the update to the achievement system. Now, we don't have a lot of information really on that, and it's not 1,000,000% clear what it refers to there. But let's go as to what I think it means, and well, more about what I hope it means. So, as I understand it, the achievement system has been designed in a certain way, which probably relates to how it was originally set up in the game, and that leaves it with certain types of restrictions, which means that the types of achievement that you can do perhaps are a bit limited. Now, what it seems to suggest is that in updating these achievement systems, it will mean that new types of achievement that aren't in the game currently can be generated and put into the game. So that sounds to me, as someone who really values the achievement system and really values the different achievements and enjoys new and novel and varied types of achievements, to be a really cool addition to an already very cool thing. So let me know your thoughts on all of those things, because I really think there's some interesting stuff in there. I don't fully understand all of it, so give me your thoughts on what the biggest things are in there, what the things that what do you think kind of the hidden gems within that that set of updates are, and how what do you think will... Oh dear, sorry. What do you think we'll notice? What do you think we will not? What do you think we'll notice? What do you think will be maybe not that big a deal? Am I missing something, basically? Right, folks, that is it. We've whittled on for 2 hours. We're not in reality, but there's a lot of stuff to get through there. So I'd be fascinated to hear what your take on all of that is, and what you make of the new driving proficiency information. I think that looks really very, very cool. Right, we're 12 kilometres out, just 14 minutes away from my final destination. You can see it right ahead, the Hotel Artemia. Driving is getting challenging. I was going to say, could you get down there? Probably not. So I've not been to this particular location before, I don't think. So this will be a new one. I'm not sure if there's any. I think I've done most of the hidden roads in Greece. I think there was one I was missing up around Kalamata, but you can let me know that in the comments. But have we got? I mean, there's been some hidden roads around the hotels. What about this one? And is it going to be an impossible delivery site like the last one we've had? This is right in the sticks, is it not? This is rather cool. Oh, look at this, and out we come. And there's the little... Right. Oh, right, okay. How many cars is this for? Explain to me how you get around there without crashing that. Right, let's see what we got, folks. Let's see what we've got. I'm not sure I'm good enough for this, but we'll see. Maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking. Okay, it's just there. So, should we try to do a little bit of a turnaround? I'm not sure if I've got enough room for this, but we'll try our very, very best to do this. I think if we can get this around, it won't be too bad. Looks like we're going to make it, folks. Right. There we go. I think we're all set up. And this shouldn't be impossible to get this back and in. But just to make it harder for myself, I'm just going to take a screenshot here. Right. Can I do this first time? Is the big question. I'm going to believe in myself, believe in my powers. Oh Christ, we've overcooked the eggs here. This is all going to be a bit of luck. Right. Right. Not getting in first time, but we'll get in second time. Not the hardest thing in the world, this. I mean, that thing on the right makes it tricky. Because it's right up against it. There's so little room. There we go. It's given us that, which I will take. I mean, I don't think anyone would be happy with that reversing. That guy with the brush is definitely not happy. And we are 2 out of 4 for the all-inclusive achievement. They're not happy with the damage penalty, but that was tough driving around those roads. So we have done Argostoli, we have done Mytilene. So we've got 2 of the other locations to get. We'll just have a quick look at what jobs are available now to give us an idea as to how likely we will be to get one of those jobs, or get a short version of those jobs. So as you can see, there are a few available. So Kalamata to Rhodes, Kalamata to Chios. These are all different areas, and the other one is was it Hania, I think is what I was told to call it. So that'd be Chios or something like that. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Tell me if you have completed this particular achievement. If not, go back and do it. It's well worth it. There's some really cool driving involved in it. Right, folks, I will see you on the next video. Let me know if you're excited about the 1.55 updates, Iceland DLC, and project coaches. Let me know. Bye bye.